Hey guys, it is Brian Hilliard here, and I am author of the best-selling book Networking Like a Pro and creator of the popular program How to Find and Win More Paid and Free Speaking Engagements. We are joined by Kelly Watts. She is joining us from the UK actually
Yeah.
today, which is going to be awesome, awesome, awesome. And I'm fired up because I think we're going to have a really good discussion. We've got her down here for how to build a business even when you are busy. Kelly, thanks so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to talk to you today.
Awesome. 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 Well, we had a chance to connect obviously before this. And one of the things that jumped out at me and why we wanted to kind of have this conversation is everybody is super busy, right? Like
Mhm.
everybody has got stuff going on and things like that. And you got into your coaching practice in a little bit of an unusual set of circumstances. You were going through some different things. And what I was hoping you could do is maybe just share real quick with people just a little bit of an overview as to how you got started doing some of these things, because I think it is a testament for potentially what other people can be doing as they grow their practice.
Yeah. Okay. So, as you said, I'm Kelly. So I'm a busy mum. I've got a 9-year-old son called Oscar, and I was working in a school as a TA, so I was a teaching assistant. So, as a mum, working, partner, running a house, we're all busy. You get up, you've got your kids, you've got the school run, work, school run, hobbies. When do we sit down? And the thought of just living in the situation, this tired, burnt out state until you retire, it was just not on my agenda anymore. I was just, I need to change. I don't know what to do. So I started looking online last year. I was teaching myself online courses, books. I was just trying to get knowledge of what I could do. So I
Right.
eventually came into the online space and then eventually pivoted to coaching. And then because I was so busy, I rather than thinking, oh, that's an excuse, I can't do it, I use that as my excuse as why I can do it. So
Right.
I built my coaching business in my car. So to a lot of people that might find, oh, what do you mean you built your business in your car? So I use those pockets of time,
Right.
so I'd take Oscar to the school bus in the morning. I'd have about 5 minutes in my car before I had to drive to work. So I would create my videos, I would create my posts, I would do my commenting. So I literally use those pockets of time, which we've all got somewhere,
Right.
to grow my business.
Right.
So I've done that since the last school year, so the last September. I've used that as so those little pockets of time which we've all got, rather than being
Right.
dead time, I
Right.
use it to show up and show people you can do it. You don't have to be sat chained to a desk for hours on end. If you've got a reason, if you've got a why, you can do it, but you've got to want to do it.
That is great because I think you hit several good points in my opinion there. Number one, the idea of the different pockets of time. Number
Mhm.
two is the idea that you have to want to do it. And number three is that it sounds like you might have to have a little bit of a plan. Maybe talk to us a little bit about that. Like, did you have? So it sounds like, let's talk about what I think you definitely had.
Mhm.
What it sounds like is you had a desire and you had a
Mhm.
motivation. That to
Yeah.
me, it sounds like you had.
Yeah.
Beyond that, was there this big grand plan, or like, how did you figure out? You talked about doing videos and things like that. Talk to us. How did you figure that out? What did you do?
So obviously to grow a business, you need to be visible. So obviously
Right,
the online world, there's thousands of coaches. And
right,
people, it's not to say that just because there's a lot of coaches, it doesn't mean that people aren't going to buy from you. They're
right,
only going to buy from you when obviously they know, like, and trust you. That's
right,
the buying psychology of people. So for people to get to know you, they got to see you to get to
right,
like you. Got to hear you and see you all the time, know what you're talking about, and trust you for you to be sharing your testimonials with them. It's like when you go on Amazon, first thing we all do is go and check the reviews, and it's the
right,
same with us. People want to check us out before they buy from us.
right.
So to me, it was building my credibility in this big online space,
Okay,
but being relatable. I'm a busy
okay,
mum, so I would say I'm in the car park. I'm coming to show you you can do it. This video,
Right.
I would put, you know, some videos could only just be 30 seconds. They could just be
Okay.
turning up. This is one quick tip to do this to grow your coaching business.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I help women to get started in coaching, basically. So
Okay.
I would share tips within my niche, or
Okay.
another way of growing it is obviously you need to connect with your ideal client. So I would, if I'd done videos, I could comment on posts of people in my niche or my ideal
Right.
client.
Right.
So it's the visibility and the know, like, and trust to build my brand, basically.
That's a great point because I think we get away from this know, like, and trust. I started my business in '01, and there wasn't this, as I remember it, there was not this mad dash towards expertness.
Mhm.
Now, notice it didn't say expertise. I didn't say knowledge. I didn't say acumen, expertness. There's this
Mhm.
rush, in my opinion, that I don't remember at the time. Maybe it was there the whole time, but it seems like it's there now towards being this expert. And not only do I not think that's a winning play, but I think that what people are looking for. So the premise itself, I don't even agree with that. The
Yeah,
more the person who knows the most wins. So I don't think
yeah,
that's a winning play. But
no.
then even the idea that you have to, at the expense of, to your point, the know, like, and trust, the relatability,
Mhm.
I think, as you go through and you take a look at relatability, because that's a good point, I think. What was it that made you decide? Like, I know in my own mind, I thought to myself, hey, listen, I play sports, I play golf, I play basketball, we've got some dogs. Like, there's different things that I'll talk about. How is it that you kind of got to this place of relatability? Like, was there something that you thought to yourself, oh, well, I'm definitely going to talk about this or not that? Or was it just maybe a little bit more organic or maybe a combination?
So it was a bit more about, like, so sharing my life. So obviously not the ins and outs of air and everything, but just
Right,
showing, so just sharing my life. So with like the know, like, and trust factor, like you said about being the expertise, it's more people buy from people, and it's just showing that I'm not an expert, because there's always something to learn, and no one
right,
is ever an expert. We've always got something to learn. But
right.
it was just taking people on my journey with me. So for
Okay,
me, it would be like
interesting.
I'm on the school run, or I've just taken my son to life saving, or
Right.
swimming, or I'm about to teach my taekwondo class. I teach free classes and I
Okay.
train. So
Okay.
it's just taking them into this real life world of, I'm just a real person like
Right.
you.
Right.
I'm not this other person on the internet. I'm just like you. I'm just a
Right.
down to earth, busy mum, stress, no quality of life because I'm on minimum wage. How can
Right.
I have
Right.
this brilliant life if I stay where I am? So
Right.
it's using that as my to propel me to go forwards.
Gotcha. Gotcha. That's interesting. I love that. I love that. Tell these guys a little bit about what you do. You alluded to it earlier where you say you work with busy moms. Give us a little bit of a 30-second of what you do exactly so that they understand it, if you don't mind, please.
Yeah, so I help. So as a TA from a teaching background, working in schools with teachers. So I help tired women who want to leave teaching, use their skills, which I have from teaching, to create
Mm,
a coaching business from scratch. So I
okay.
show them how I had no business, no background in business at all. I learned, I hired coaches, I got to where I am today by hiring and implementing it. And I
Right.
take them on that journey without all the mistakes I made, basically. But
Okay.
it's great to have mistakes because we all
Right.
need that of a practice.
Right.
A mistake isn't a negative. A mistake is giving you another practice of what you're doing so you can improve and get to
Right.
the next level. So
Right.
I help tired mums use their skills to create a successful coaching business
Okay.
without, literally going from A to Z without all the bits in between. So it's all the
Okay.
mistakes I learned. So I've got it all in a program for them. So these are the
Okay.
steps that you need to do to start from absolutely no back. It doesn't matter if you don't know anything about business. I didn't. I
Right.
help you with this strategy. I help you go through all the bits that you need to do. And it's the important bits, like the connecting with your audience.
Right.
It's having is you might want 100 followers, but are they the right followers? So it's all
Right.
those important steps to take,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
and things like this, the visibility. So
That sounds really helpful because I think a lot of people, when I was getting started, we didn't have the internet as we had it today, and we had zero social media. So there was no YouTube, there was nothing. And that would have been helpful. You know what I mean? To be able to have somebody who could go through some of those things. So that's good. One of the quotes that you had, and we talked a little bit about this, is, and I think this was part of, I don't know if it was yours personally, and if it was, that's great. If it's not, it's also fine, but just whatever. What was the idea that, just say yes to today and learn to do it tomorrow? That to me sounds like a big piece of what it is that you're doing with these people.
Yeah, so that's a quote from Richard Branson. I don't want to,
Okay.
there'll probably
Okay.
be lots of people jumping on saying that's not
That's
you.
fine.
So I just
Okay.
wanted to, and giving him all the credit, that's all of his. But yeah, it's like when you start a degree, you're not qualifying that day. You don't know what you're going into. So you're just
Right.
saying yes, and tomorrow you learn. It's the same with any opportunity, because it's outside our comfort zones. It's
Mm,
scary. Life's got to start outside your comfort zone. If you want to
right.
stay exactly as you are until you retire, that's fine. But if you
Right.
don't, you've got to do something about it. And you just
Mm,
say yes and you learn how to do it. So, when people start their degree, by the end, they're qualified in whatever subject that they've chosen. But they didn't know
right.
all that when they started, but they said
Right.
yes and took that chance. So it's the
Mm,
same with any business, any opportunity, a new hobby, anything. You've got to just say yes and just learn how to do it later. That's just your mind, your chimp, keeping you safe.
right.
Um,
Right.
but we're talking about like the chimp paradox and all that now. But it's all about your mindset, life. And when you go outside your comfort zone that little bit, your chimp is going to say, "Oh, that's okay," and then you can push yourself further, and then
Right.
you see how far you stepped outside your comfort zone. Then, but you just
Right.
got to say yes. Just say yes.
It's really interesting. So one of the challenges I've had, and I'm getting past it now, is I was having some hip flexor issues, and I wasn't able to play basketball for a while. And I'm actually much, much better now. Turns out that I need to activate my glutes. My hip
Yeah,
flexors were just the actual the fall guy, quite frankly.
yeah,
So it was interesting because I was talking with my massage therapist about this, and I was there last week, and we were going through some different exercises to activate my glutes, and I was telling her some work better than others. And when I say work better than others, like not work, like you can't walk for like a day, or
yeah,
it's not they can't walk, but like they
yeah.
really hurt. Like
It's
it's like,
stiff.
oh
Yeah,
my
yeah,
God.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And I told her, I said, and I think this is the part that relates back to what you're saying, is you don't know what exercises work and don't,
Mhm.
okay? And you can't just stay the same and not do anything. If I did that, I'd still be on the couch talking about, I don't know, how I can't play basketball. So
Yeah.
there's things I could do today that I could, like leg raises, for example. I couldn't do those 6 months ago. You know what I mean? And some other things. There's some, and I didn't know that until I tried it. Right. And that's getting back to your point. And I
Mhm.
think part of the thing is, and this maybe would be an interesting discussion with you from a mindset standpoint. I think a lot of times as coaches, we hold ourselves back,
Mhm.
getting back to maybe that expert, capital E, because we think potentially that being a coach means being an expert, and being an expert means knowing everything.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you would disagree with that as well. I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Like I said earlier, there's always room to learn. Like I love learning. So, there's so many courses I'd love to go on. So as I progress over the years, I always want to be learning. I don't think anyone is ever the expert. They might know a
Right,
lot about a subject, but like with you, how the internet has changed, times
right,
change,
right,
things change. So you
right,
might be very good at what you do, but it's not to say that things are going to change in the future and there's more to learn, or maybe you're in a niche, but you might want to go into a different social media platform. That's a
good
whole new
point.
thing you want to learn again. So
Right,
it might be a different strategy on that platform. It's so that there's always learning curves if you want to progress. If you want to stay as you are, that's fine. But if you want to keep going and keep progressing and help more people along the way, you have to continue your learning journey.
And let me stop you right there. Help more people along the way.
Yeah.
Because right, it's learning is what we're really talking about is growing. Okay.
Yeah.
And you can't, the way I explain that to people is it's like a light. Okay. Where you might have a really small light, or you might have a big light, or you might have a medium-sized light. But as you grow and learn, your light increases or decreases. And the amount of people that in the coach's world that you can impact, guess what? Increases or decreases depending on not how much you know, but how much you grow and how much
Yeah.
you're willing, in this case, to get out there and do some things that might make you a little uncomfortable. That's some
Yeah.
good stuff. So let's finish up with the book, because I know you have got a book coming out, or is it already out? I forgot. I apologize.
It's coming out.
It's coming out. Okay, talk to
Yeah.
us a little bit about that. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So this book is, so I'm collaborating with, I think there's 27 of us all together on this
Good,
book, and
good.
it's based around mental health. So it's all
Okay,
around our individual stories of mental health.
okay,
So it's you know, it's going to be hopefully it'll help people who've been on that journey or on that journey, just reading other people's stories, because
right,
you know, for me, going back to you know, it's opened up lots of stuff going
right,
back into that time, if you know what I mean. So
right.
hopefully sharing my journey and my thoughts and feelings at that time, and to see where I am now, where I didn't think I would be possibly 10 years ago, where
Right.
you know, when I had it all, it's just it's shown the path for where we all are now. So the other collaborators are all business owners, so it
Okay,
just goes to show that we've all had these struggles,
okay,
but look at us now, basically.
right.
So this book is coming out on World Mental Health Day, so that's the 10th of October.
Okay,
So I don't know how much information I can share about it at the moment, so I don't
okay,
want to say much because I don't know what we're allowed to share. But
okay,
it's all been submitted now for editing, so it'll be marketed soon now in
okay,
September, ready for the release in October. But it's going to be promoted on my, you know, my social media channels as well. So
okay,
people will see it when it's coming out, and along with the other co-authors as well. So I'm really
okay,
excited for it, because
okay.
again, it is me. I'm just a busy mum, but now I'm going to be an author.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because I
Yep.
took this step. Look at what you can do when you go outside your comfort zone. Like a year
Right.
ago, I'd never say, "Oh, I'm going to be an author." Now,
Right.
all the previous books as well have been #1 bestsellers.
Right.
So you know, in 2 months' time, I'm potentially going to be a #1 best-selling author. But I'm just a
Right.
mum. I'm just a
Right.
mum in South Wales village who was just living off minimum wage a year
Right.
ago. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? It's
Right.
I've taken that chance, and look where it's led, because I've
Right.
said yes, and I've
Right.
never written a book before. So
Right.
you know, that's taking me outside my comfort zone.
Right.
So
Right.
you know, and all the things that's going to come with it as well. It's like it's happening to me, but then
Right.
why shouldn't I say yes, it's happening to me because I worked for it?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
I
It's a mix
totally
of
know.
emotions. You get like
Yeah.
that bit of imposter syndrome, but it's
Yeah.
like, well, I should be proud, because
Right.
I've gone on a journey. I've said yes. I've worked hard,
Right.
and I deserve it because I've worked hard for it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
That's
mean? But I'm
exactly
just
right.
showing that I'm just a busy normal mum, and
Right.
I've created this.
Well, good, 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 good. Well, listen, Kelly, this has been a pleasure. I think, like I said, we had a chance to meet a little while ago. We talked obviously before this,
Yeah.
and I love the story. And the idea is building a business when you're busy. That the takeaways that I heard out of that was make the most out of the time that you have.
Yeah.
What I also heard is say yes, right? Like get into action, say
Mhm.
yes. You can figure it out later.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other thing I heard was, make yourself, when we talked about the plan, make yourself from what you're doing,
Mhm.
I agree with this, but from what you're doing is really have a focus on relatability and really
Mhm.
have a focus on people being able, excuse me, to see you and to get to
Mhm.
know you. And obviously we're going old school, know, like, and trust. And
Yeah.
I think that, those three things, when you're doing that, you can sneak in a 30-second video in your car. You can
Yeah.
sneak in some comments online. You can maybe write a book, right? You don't
Mhm.
have to write the whole book. You can collaborate with others. So like
Yeah,
there's different ways to be. You can go on podcasts like you're doing
yeah,
now. These aren't
yeah,
heavy lifts. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Mhm.
To be able to do that. And that's kind of what I'm hearing. So that's some really good stuff. Tell these people where they can find you, either on LinkedIn or maybe some other places. Where can we find you?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn. So I'm just Kelly Watts on LinkedIn. On
Okay.
Instagram, I'm Kelly Watts Coaching, or
Okay.
I'd love to connect on Facebook. I'm Kelly
Okay.
Watts on Facebook. And
Okay.
like I said, when the book comes out, when the PR is all done, I'll be promoting that as well.
Okay.
So people can find out more information about the book then as well. So I'll be
Okay.
sharing on the platforms then.
Okay. Okay. Well, that is awesome. And that's Kelly, Kelly, by the way, Watts, Kelly Watts.
Yeah.
She said you can find her name on LinkedIn. She said it was
Hmm.
Kelly Watts Coaching on the gram. And
Yeah.
you said, what was the other one on Facebook? You said, was it
So
just your
I'm just
name?
Kelly Watts on
Okay.
Facebook. So you can
Okay.
come
So
and connect with me on Facebook.
Kelly Watts on your Facebook and
Yes.
LinkedIn. On the
Yes.
gram, we've got Kelly Watts Coaching. Not a
Yes.
problem. Really, really appreciate you spending some time with me. Thank you so much for coming and sharing some stuff with our audience.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. And like I said, if anyone wants to reach out, I'm happy to help anyone. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a teacher. If anyone wants to change their life, I'm happy to help anyone. So just send me a message.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, Brian.